Welcome to Landco. Today we're going to talk about politics in real estate. And I think the important thing here is to recognize that in the process of real estate value adds or investment, we really have projects in two separate categories: those that require discretionary approval processes and others non-discretionary approval processes required. I won't go into a lot of explanation about how those are different, but essentially one, you need to seek the approval from people who can or cannot give it, and the other is pretty much as long as you do these different things, you can obtain the approvals that you need. Today we'll focus mainly on the ones that are discretionary approval process requirements, because that's where politics gets involved in real estate. Without getting into the politics, we can look at all the federal laws, state laws, county laws, ordinances, zoning restrictions, permitting processes, and other kinds of fees and taxes that are imposed on property owners to sort of steer the ships, if you will, in certain directions. Having said that, you may recall a talk I gave earlier on the bundle of rights, and where we are with that is essentially anything that you're allowed to do with real estate. In this particular case, sometimes we don't know on a project where discretionary approval processes are required what we can do, and so we start back with the bundle of rights and we have to minus out all of the things that we may be told we cannot do, and that would end up ultimately being your bundle of rights. There's a lot of value associated in what you can or cannot do with a certain property, and so that's where the stakes get elevated and where politics and real estate come together. This is a particular emphasis in high population urban areas where any changes to the landscape, so to speak, can have great impacts on communities. Again, too much to go into in one setting. What we also want to mention here is that the politics really, if we think about it, came into being on real estate early in the evolution of mankind. The idea being that at one point in time there were essentially groups of people populating the planet, and they moved around according to the weather, according to the herds, according to the food supplies at one point in time, and that essentially dictated what could be done with land. When these people came up against others and there were potential adverse situations or conflicts, that's where the politics started. So the politics and sort of how we work out our differences on one group versus another group is a high stakes game in real estate, and real estate is becoming more and more political as our populations grow and as our needs change. Today, it's necessary to have political support for almost any kind of project that alters a landscape or a use of any particular urban area. In many cases, in rural areas, though, usually less. So with that, the debate continues. Thank you for joining Landco.